Hello, I'm Llewellyn King, the host of White House Chronicle, which is coming right up. But first, a few thoughts of my own. I want to talk to you about habitat. Not habitat for animals, though we usually use that word, and that's a problem. Habitat for many species is endangered. Even the poor old rattlesnake in Virginia is having a hard time because the ridges of the mountains where they like to live have been built on and interrupted by man. Man is an invasive species sometimes. But I want to talk about a different kind of habitat. The habitat used by small entrepreneurs, the little businesses, the small business, so beloved by politicians and yet so little supported outside of people who want to reduce the taxes. Well, it's probably a good thing to reduce taxes, but my knowledge of small business, and I operated one myself for 33 years, is tax isn't the problem. We're so glad to make enough money to have to pay tax. The problem is all the other pressures that are unique to us. We have to, in small business, you have to duplicate this that a big company doesn't have to do. You have nobody to speak for you in Congress. You cannot afford the kinds of professional services that you would like, but particularly there's nowhere to do it. If you're in retailing, you're not going to be in a new shopping center with those big boxes, chain stores, chain restaurants, chain everything, impersonal, cold. No sense that you're a person. You can go from one town to the other and visit shopping centers that are interchangeable. The small business, you find that where? Hiding in the decaying strip mall. There you will find an ethnic restaurant, a yarn shop, a travel agency. Good businesses if they can afford the habitat. And it is not confined to retailing. It is true for people who manufacture things, people who beat iron into shapes, people who love the business of being self-employed, and incidentally do create more jobs faster than anyone else. But unless we, at some point, realize they need somewhere to do this, we're going to see fewer small businesses and more chains. When a big chain store comes along, it usually wipes out between 25 and 50 small businesses. I saw it happen around where I live with hardware stores, those great places where this Renaissance person who worked behind the counter who could fix anything or tell you how to do it was wiped away, and now we have the chains. The big, impersonal chains. They've got everything in there, except nobody who works there knows where it is. So remember, small business needs habitat, just like the poor old rattlesnake in Virginia. I have a very interesting show coming up. We're going to be talking to a former congressman who now heads an interesting trade association in Washington. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about his background, which was not conventional. He was a farmer. There aren't many farmers in Congress anymore. At one time, they were all farmers. And we'll talk about those things. We'll be right back.
White House Chronicle is produced in collaboration with WHUT, Howard University Television. And now, the program host, nationally syndicated columnist Llewellyn King, and co-host Linda Gasparello.